produce content for the said VR unit, and they stop doing that, and I mean, like, damn, that's a clear indication that
Time to play the game! It's all about the game, and how you play it, all about control. And if you can take it, it's all about your debt. And if you can pay it, it's all about pain. And who's gonna make it? I am the game.
We are live! We are live. Welcome to the arcade. It's your host, The Rick. With the rest of the panel, we have the Objective Gamer, also known as The Parker. We have Low Key, who has come in and graced us with his presence. We have Dre, the coolest light-skinned dude that you can ever meet. And we have Layvon, the tech man. And we also have a special guest appearance from Man Captain himself. the African warlord, Shaka Kappa Zulu.
This nigga's wild.
What is going on, brothers? Welcome. Thanks
Rick,
for y'all
Rick just
being
don't like
here.
the truth, man.
Uh-oh.
It really is, man. You know what it is with Rick.
Oh,
He call my truth capping.
Oh,
He
man.
try to cope with the truth, man.
Oh my God, folks! We heard there's been some gaming news and there's been some laming news. We gonna give it to you. We gonna give it to you straight shots, no chasers. That's what we do
Happened
here.
to Ty today.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to my man Ty. Ty is getting married, folks, so his life is over. That's
Oh,
number
shit.
one.
Ah, man.
Yes, so he's getting.
Congratulations, Ty, but I'm gonna miss my brother, man. He ain't gonna be back here in a long
Oh
time.
man, his gamer score will suffer for this. Oh my God.
Yeah, congrats, brother.
You knew like I knew.
Oh man, so actually his wedding date is next Saturday, but for everybody that's been married, you have to go through counseling with your pastor or, other higher power or anybody that can talk back to you, and they'll tell you what you should and shouldn't do in a marriage, and that's what Ty is doing this week, and he's going to be doing that next week. Hopefully we can get Ty back after next Saturday, and he's going to be starting his own show too on Thursdays. And we're gonna rock out with him too. That's what we are. We like the MCU around here. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna support him and we're gonna support each other. And that's what we're gonna do. Well, let's start with the intros. Let's start with you, Parker. What you've been playing, what you've been capping about, and are you really objective?
Of course I'm objective. That's my name. And also, I've been playing the Hogwarts 2K, and and stuff. And you got some nice topics we're gonna talk about. So stay tuned for that.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Oh man. So we're gonna turn this over to Low Key. Low Key, I already know what you were playing. Tell the people what you've been playing and what you've been capping for. But we just talked about that 5 minutes ago. But go ahead, brother.
Oh man, yeah, we'll get into that subject.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be a good one. That'll be a spirited one. And we got Manhattan. We got a smart brother from New York. We'll
oh my God.
We're gonna stomp your legs in. But besides that, I finished Forspoken since the last time I was on here. I mean, was it last week or the week before?
No, it was last week. You were the one telling us how the game isn't bad and people need to lighten up on it.
So I ran credits on that. The last 25% of it is really crazy. I'm not capping. Like the story switched up and it surprised me a little bit. But
you know what? And that's not to interrupt you. That's the same way I felt about Forbidden West. Like the last 25 minutes, it got really, really good.
Yeah, I like how it ended. But besides that, I've been playing a lot of Hogwarts Legacy. Got about 15 hours of it streaming on my YouTube channel. That's actually done pretty well for me. But besides that, playing a little Gotham Knights, finishing that up, and that's really it.
Nice.
Waiting for this PSVR 2 to come out.
Indeed, and for those that don't know, I believe me and Loki are the only ones who have getting it on the panel right now. I mean, it's a big investment. It's not something that you put it this way. You shouldn't buy any kind of VR system just to have it sit on your shelf or on your mannequin head, like my PSVR 1 has been doing for the last 2 years. So when you get something like that, you got to play it. That's the only way you're going to know how good it is. Get it, put some time into it. That's what you got to do with some of these kind of things, especially niche things like this. You got to spend time with it, see what you like. There are certain games you can play. That's a good thing. You have different amounts of games that you can play, different types of games that you can play on.
That GT7, bro. We got to get on there, get some races in.
Well, hey, listen, I'm not much of a racer, man. I mean, I can run on foot, but when it comes to driving the cars,
Hey, Brad, we know you ain't doing overrunning, so we stop that cat.
Well, I bet y'all run faster than you.
No, you can't.
Oh my God!
Yeah, niggas say he ain't gonna run.
Yeah. Oh, listen, first of all, you're African. Ain't nobody beating you in a marathon. So listen, you're a fucking ringer here. So you take you take your ass about it. Nobody can run.
Oh yeah.
Nobody can run longer than you or throw a spear further than you. Ain't nobody trying that right now. So let's go over to Levon. Levon, what you been playing besides your Steam Deck? And
okay. Well, I've been downloading a lot of old games on my Wii U because the Nintendo eShop on the Wii U is closing down and all that stuff. So I've been doing that, and also I've been playing Spec Ops: The Line on the Steam Deck. It's actually not a bad game. And I've been playing this PS4 game called Wanted Dead a little bit, and
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
not it's mid, man.
Oh man. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. All right, Dre. Dre got his mic muted, but he'll come back and he'll tell us what he's been. Dre, what you been playing, brother?
To be honest with you, man, I've been doing a lot of work, and I got a project that's got to be done by March, and we're like right up against the line. So I've been doing a lot of work, and I ain't really haven't been doing too much gaming.
No doubt. But you hear the news out there though, so that's we need your opinion for that. Not all of us are gamers, but we game more than most. Like I said, Parker is always on that 2K. Actually, believe it or not, I booted up freaking A Plague's Tale, the first one today, because I never finished it. And I come to find out that it left Game Pass, and I had to pay $39 for it. I wasn't too happy about that. I was like, oh, this game's in Game Pass. I go to it, and it was like, you have to own this game. I'm like, what y'all talking about? And then I'm like, oh, shit, it's off Game Pass. Son of a bitch. But, yeah, I mean, that's the thing about Game Pass. We champion it. When I say we, us bots, I'm a bot. All right? I'm a big bot, 6'7", 253. Can you dig it? All right? That's what I'm doing. But I am disappointed when a game leaves when I didn't get a chance to finish it. So I had to spend $33 today for the $39 plus tax was like 42 and change just to even start the game again. And now I'm handcuffed to it. So next week I'll be playing VR in the old fucking Plague's Tale because I spent money on it. So that's what I'm doing. Now, Parker, our producer of the show, and the most non-objective guy out of all of us, he put together some topics for us. And all of the guys with access to the general and the Discord, we all have access to these topics. So, we're going to start off with the Quantic Dream has been acquired by NetEase Games for 100 million euros. Now, I don't know what the fuck that is in American dollars. Can you guys help me out with this?
What's the conversion right now? Let's see.
Let's see. But it'd be interesting, though, to see, how is that, that there? Does it, like...
It's about the same. Right now, it's €1 to $1.07.
Okay.
Now the question I have for this is though, 100 million euros. Like, is this something that gets looked at by regulators too, or is it only the billions dollars?
I mean, you talking about 100 million to around 70 billion? Yeah, come on.
I'm just saying. Hey, listen.
Yeah.
I gotta ask the question because I'm like, hell, these guys just spent 100 million and fuck, it's a goddamn.
They're more of like a third-party publisher, though. So no.
Well, wait a minute. Is this particular studio or whatever entity it is this vital to make PlayStation work? Is this vital? Do they have to have it? That's why I'm asking.
It's a multi-plat.
Okay, well, it's always Call of Duty, but apparently one fucking place says they can't live without a certain thing. That's why
I'll ask you this question. Let me ask you this question then. He about to get knocked the fuck out. I'm gonna take the kitty gloves off, right?
Oh, okay.
Now I'm gonna ask you this though.
Yeah, show me something.
The Android game they did, right?
Detroit Become Human.
Did that make like a billion in 10 days?
I don't know, but is it essential to the ecosystem?
That's a great game.
It's essential to no ecosystem.
Okay, all right. Okay.
You can make consoles. It's a third-party publisher.
All right. Hey, thank you, brothers. That's why I asked the question. That's all. I just wanted to know.
I gotta stop you. Also, if you look at them, at that company before they were just acquired, though, right? When you look at between them and Activision, they're a speck, nowhere close to what Activision was bringing in.
And neither was Bungie until they created Halo, and neither was Mojang until they created Minecraft. But these things start out small, and then they become big. They do. They start out small. What starts out big?
Hold on, listen to what I'm saying.
Besides me.
Oh, come on, Ricky Brown, please. Like I said, we've seen those games. Like, no, they've been doing it they've been around for a long time, like at least 10 years. Hello, I remember playing those games on PS3. Those games, Quantic Dream. So no.
Okay, hey, listen, I'm just asking the questions, brother. Don't attack me. Don't kill the messenger. Damn.
100 million right? That's not gonna raise no flags. By NetEase game, Quantum Dream, like 100 million. No, that's not gonna raise no flags. Whatever. It's not a super huge big deal though. Fucking Insomniac I think cost 200 million. Y'all purchased the Gears of War IP for like 200 million. So 100 million, nah, it's not gonna raise too many flags. Look, what I said is like facts though. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, no, 100 million, no. Fuck it, Sony got marketing bigger than that.
Anyway, hey, I get it. Shout out to Loki. Loki, listen, we all talked about earlier how we was all gonna look out for each other. Loki, he's tweeting out the show to he's got an audience over there that he's doing with Twitch, and he's tweeting the show out. You know, letting people know where he's at, and we should all do the same for all the brothers that come through. Look, boom, got the viewers just jumped up like that. That's what we do. We all need to look after each other. Wait a minute. Is Ty? Is that Ty? Is Ty? Wait a minute, Ty, ain't you supposed to be in counseling? So Ty says, ask Parker why Sony's scared to show their money since they need console bad. The co-host has flown in and thrown a jab and slapped Parker in the back. And
No, they not scared to show no money.
What do you mean they're not scared? They've been asking for more extensions than a guy that can't pay back a payment loan.
Ty asked me a question, not you. And listen, they always posting what they making. You see it in the reports. So they're not scared to show high numbers, unlike Microsoft.
But keep in mind, Ty's in a marriage counseling session. He probably meant the contract. That's what he probably meant. Because his wife probably told him to put that damn phone away because he's inside that session.
Yeah.
So that's what he wants to know, Parker. Why is Sony scared? I love it when we jump around like this. Why is Sony scared to show these damn contracts? Why?
They ain't scared to show no contracts. You know, it takes time and resources to do stuff like that. So listen here, man. The game is
pull out my own tax. I can pull out my own tax report and go to TurboTax in 5 seconds.
Like I said, Sony's playing chess, not checkers. That's the difference.
Really?
Yeah.
Sony's playing chess, not checkers. Mm-hmm. Now, here's where they better be careful of what they're playing. And I say this. Hear me out. If Sony is saying we're not going to sign a deal, and then somebody approves the deal with concessions, of course, it's got to be concessions. But then what if they don't get what they really wanted, which is that lifetime deal? We know that's what Sony's holding out for. They're holding out for that lifetime COD deal. I believe so. I mean, it only makes sense to keep it up there lifetime because at the end of the day, COD might make Microsoft a whole lot of money, but it also makes Sony a whole lot of money. So what do you think about that, low key? Where low key at?
I mean, I know we talked about it a little bit last week, but I don't think it's gonna go through as we all.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh wow! So you don't think the deal's going through at all? Okay. You know, I think we all said if we thought it would go through, and I think Levon said he thought it would go through. Dre thought it was going to go through. I think it'll go through. It's going to be hell of a concessions on it. Like it might go through, but by the time this thing goes through, you might as well call Microsoft and Sony partners, bro, because they're going to be in that Call of Duty universe for a while. And I think Microsoft will make the best out of it. I think they'll do a COD with the PSVR and all of that shit. Like, it only makes sense. Like, I mean, if you're going to keep it there, utilize the best that you can get out of it. I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
And remember, I called that Modern Warfare 2 VR, too.
Alondra252 says, Rick, COD deal is not going through. I don't know. Hey, look, I said I don't know. But here's what I do know. And I'll say this. The last rich man that I seen take a L was Bill Cosby. And that's because, certain things came out against him. Usually rich people don't take L's, or people with money, they don't take L's. What's good, brother? Yeah, that's just what it is. Sometimes, I mean, you never know what people are. Here's what I do know. The deal could be blocked in the CMA or the EU or whatever. I know where the deal's not going to be blocked. That's in the FTC, because legally you can't do it. So we know where the deal will get approved if you go through court. But then you ask yourself the question, is it worth it, though? Like, by the time you fight off the EU, you go into a nuclear battle with the CMA, and then you got to fight the FTC. You got to extend the deadline, which means Now you got to talk to the stockholders again and say, look, we need an extension. The deal's not going to happen in June. It's going to happen in fucking December or something. Like, do you really want to do all of that? I mean, do you? Oh, shit, it's Moby. Moby's here talking junk. Moby's back. Moby's here. Moby, folks, for those that don't know, he is a known terrorist in Discords. And that's what he is, a known terrorist. But, you know, shout out to him. Thanks for coming through, brother. Hit that like button and subscribe, please. Because we're going to do this every Saturday and Mondays, too. Unless it falls on Valentine's Day. Now, what was you saying, Loki?
I just say yes, sir.
So, yes, we're doing that. So, I mean, look, this deal, you know the funny thing is, I think this deal going through has hurt both companies. Sony don't want to show their shit. Microsoft don't want to show their shit. Everybody's crying broke. We don't have this. We don't have that. Everybody's just playing this stupid I'm a big broke game. Like, remember that episode of the Cosby's where this dude's a doctor, his wife's a lawyer, and he went and dressed up like a bum at the car dealership so he can get a good deal on the car? Like, yo, like, it's that stuff. Like, I'm sick of the deal. Like, I don't even want to talk about it no more, but we have to because this is the kind of stuff that's in the news. Now, there was a rumor. Shout out to Post Up because he started this shit on Twitter. There was a rumor that said Sony's private executive jet flew from Japan and then Europe and then went to Washington, right, to iron out a COD deal. But keep in mind, there is also another entity in Washington that has something to do with Sony, not Microsoft. Remember this old company called Bungie that was bought by Sony? That's also in Washington. So people are making a big deal saying that, hey, they flew over to Washington and now they're talking COD deal and this and that. I don't even know if that's the case. What sense does it make for Sony to even talk to Microsoft at this point in the game? Unless the regulators must have told, again, I'm not saying this will happen, unless the regulators told Sony, hey, we might have to push this shit through if we give y'all a 10-year deal. What do you think, Parker?
What happened? Microsoft was willing to bend the knee and give up that lifetime COD deal to Sony. That's what I think happened. You know, Phil Spencer was on handed knees singing "Boys and Men." You know, please take.
Is that
deal.
really bending the knee though, Parker? I mean, you still gonna pay for
I'm being
it.
sarcastic though. Everybody,
Yeah, I mean he's trolling a little bit, but he's not really objective right now.
But what I'm saying is this: Microsoft. You quote me on this. They will make the necessary concessions that need to be to get this deal passed. Because you look at the bigger picture, get that mobile gaming division up and running. So they'll do that. Because that's gonna make them much more money in the long run. So they'll make those concessions and stuff to Sony because they'll still make money off that anyway with COD being on Sony. So yeah, they're gonna do that. If it has to be a lifetime of COD being on PlayStation, as long as Sony makes a console business, they'll do that. So they'll give into those concessions though. That's what I'm saying.
Recoup billions.
So that's what they'll will do. They'll just be like another third-party publisher. Have Activision already was doing with the COD, basically,
right,
stuff like that. You know, so yeah, just for that deal to go through, they'll do that because they want to do this like the mobile store, and Blizzard will help them achieve that more. You know, so
listen, I've been telling y'all folks this for the last 3 weeks. Microsoft is trying to get out of the console business. Why else would you keep buying publishers? People don't buy publishers to stay in the console business. You buy publishers to create third-party content to put everywhere. That's what you do that for.
I
like Game Pass.
I disagree with you. I don't know if Microsoft's trying to get out of the console business per se. Because video games still, still highest form of entertainment.
But a console is a liability, though. It's an overhead. No, it's an overhead. You think about it. You got to pay R&D, right? Okay. You got to constantly pay R&D, especially when you got two SKUs now. They got two SKUs where they got to do R&D for two different SKUs. And go ahead.
Rick, when you're a $1 trillion company, all that is tax write-off.
That is true, but when you're a $1 trillion company, you know what you want? More trillions. And by eliminating that division, you'll save yourself some money.
But how about this, though? Do we know the full contract they got with AMD? So that'll let you know how far they want to stay in the console business, though, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's something you probably would look into that to really see how long they really want to stay in the console business, see how long that contract is with AMD. Because those are the ones where they get the chips and stuff for them to build these consoles and stuff. Like which they co-engineer architect, a lot of that stuff with AMD that's in the Series X and S. So I don't think they're trying to get out of the console business, because there'll always be a market for someone to play console, though. Because like I said, everybody's financial situation is different, though, right? So they'll make a box.
Plus, not everybody want to feel like they don't want a PC.
Yeah, because streaming.
Yeah, that's true. But a lot of people are scared. I myself was scared of PC until I talked to Parker, till I talked to King's Blood, till I talked to Z.
But Ricky Brown, to be fair, we talk about maybe a person who's not making six figures. They don't really like to say they can't really invest like over $2,000 or more into making a gaming rig. Some it could be like a single parent with like 3 or 4 kids.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, you ain't buying no
get the console.
You gotta pay the rent. You gotta get school clothes. Ain't nobody worry about no.
No, that's why there'll always be a need for a console to play your games. There'll always be a need. Even if you make it like a little streaming set top box, whatever, that's still hardware though. Regardless of whatever it is, it'll still be a need for a console because streaming hasn't taken full-fledged. Not as far as in video gaming, in other aspects like in music and movies. And streaming TV shows, yeah, but video games, not so much.
And it's funny. I think we're probably the first show to really talk about this that I know of, because I watched maybe 3 or 4 shows that talk about this. But something that we've never really talked about with each other is, what is Microsoft's plan B? No pun intended. What is their plan B if this doesn't go through? Now, if you're a smart $1 trillion company, like Dre was saying, you gotta have thoughts on what you do next. If they tell you no to this deal, then what do? You got $68 billion that is.
So what the plan B is to give into its concessions. That's it. That's the plan B, really.
I'm sure they have some other companies that they're interested in buying.
I like what Parker said, because he just hit on something that maybe they pushed all their chips in the middle on this deal. And like Parker said, their plan B might be to say, hey, we got to give them whatever the hell we want. We don't have a real plan B. Take-Two's not going to let us buy us. If we buy EA, we don't get those licenses for the NFL. They go back to whatever. Like, all of that stuff, when you purchase a company, a lot of those contracts, when you have licensing, is that the licenses revert back to the parent company. So you can't just step up to the plate and say, oh, I'm going to buy Madden. And I'm going to buy EA and I'm going to have Madden. It doesn't work like that.
I'm going to tell you this, though, but one good thing, if they was to get EA, I think that one publisher, not publisher, but developer team, Respawn Entertainment, that would be huge for Microsoft right there, though.
Yeah, shout out to Alundra252. He says Microsoft going to buy Sega, Atlas, and Platinum. Well, I don't think they could buy Sega. Everybody talks about this buying a Japanese company. Now, I like what you said there. Buy Sega, Atlas. They might buy something else, but I think if the ABK deal doesn't go through, or if they make them divest, with a part of divestiture, meaning they sell off COD, I think if they do have to sell Activision, that their next play is probably Steam, because they try to get the PC in. You might as well. You done bought Blizzard. You would have the mobile department. Why not buy Steam? Because they wouldn't let you buy Activision if they take Activision off the table. To me, if you take Activision off the table, which we'll be going down a rabbit hole, the deal's worthless without Activision. I understand King makes all this money.
Blizzard's worth more than Activision.
King is worth more, but if you're talking about
Blizzard,
but if you're Blizzard, but you're talking engagement, nobody engages more than COD, because COD's on mobile as well as the consoles and PC.
You're selling short Blizzard though.
I'm not selling it short. I'm just telling you. But that Call of Duty IP is, they tell you that they want it mobile, but they really want that Call of Duty IP because it's everywhere.
But I'm gonna tell you, it's not bigger. I don't think it's bigger than League of Legends on World of Warcraft, right?
Well, those World of Warcraft dudes are a little. Those are the guys we see at the Crystal Mall that play Dungeons and Dragons outside the toy store. Those guys are a little different.
League of Legends is huge, though. I'm telling you that.
Loki, what do you think?
Go ahead.
What's the question?
Oh man, Loki's sitting here having a drink. We want to know if Microsoft has a plan B.
I was just having a discussion. I was listening, but I'm like, what
Yeah. So we were wondering what do you think Microsoft plan B is going to be if this deal doesn't go through? If they divest Activision, I'm saying, well, they might as well buy Steam. You know, and Parker thinks that their plan B is really still plan A. You know, just to freaking give all the concessions in the world to make sure it goes through.
That's a good idea. That's definitely a good idea. Just, go ahead and divest it, and still want the data because, they want to leverage their cloud. So still going to be able to do that with mobile and those type of games. But personally, I say, shoot, go after Ubisoft.
Oh man, you want to buy that dumpster fire? Ubisoft's a disaster. Oh my god,
they still put
it's
out.
a disaster. They got big games that won't see the light of day. I mean, Ubisoft is like.
But they got talent over there, though.
It's like Stadia 2.0. Do you really want that? Like,
I want to go that far.
Studios got the manpower. They hire some of these people, hire some people back. Ubisoft, under Xbox Studios.
Yeah. And Moby's at it again. He said streaming service and Nintendo would hurt them bad, pride-wise. And we all agree, even Levon, who's a Nintendo guy, that Nintendo is gonna have to change with the times, bro. You might have slid that $70 Zelda in on us, overnight on some freaking Pearl Harbor stuff, but Nintendo is gonna have to step their game up because they.
I think Nintendo's fine because basically they're hybrid, like what they do at home console to mobile, and so they already operating two of the top gaming platform revenues anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but there's one thing about Nintendo gamers, and that everybody fails to realize, or not realize, but people fail to contemplate on that, is that they do grow up, and when the Nintendo gamers grow up, they usually buy a PlayStation or they buy an Xbox because they get out of the whole Nintendo thing. And I think if Nintendo wants to keep their younger audience and get more of the adult audience, they have to make some changes. They got to make more, adult type games. I'm not talking nudity or anything like that, but just,
they got Bayonetta.
Yeah, but is Bayonetta enough? Do they need to? Turn Mario around into something.
No, they don't.
You don't think so? No. You want to leave him as a platformer? You don't want to touch that, huh?
Mm-hmm. I mean, numbers don't lie. So if it ain't broke,
just make a new IP.
Yeah.
Well, they already turned Zelda into an open world game. Do you turn Metroid into an open world game now?
Well, maybe that's what Prime 4 is.
Yeah, maybe it's open world. Maybe that's something that you got to look into. Moby said. Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed, Mirage gonna be fire. Rick, maybe, but here's the problem with Ubisoft. Y'all talk about Microsoft with taking long and all. Ubisoft just as bad. And I remember Splinter Cell was hot back in the day. OG Xbox, co-op online. I remember that stuff. When you were hanging from the ceiling and stuff, and you were going down killing people and all of that. I remember that Splinter Cell. That was right around. I'm telling you, I was around when Gears 1 was out, I think. Good games. I missed the co-op part of gaming. The co-op stuff is fun. I don't really like one-player games too much. Neither does my son. My 10-year-old son comes to me and he's like, "Hey, Dad, I like Minecraft, but it's boring if you play by yourself." And he's like, "Well, his brothers didn't want to play." I was like, "Yo, you got your father. Just ask me. I'll play with you. There's no problem. We like co-op games. We're a big family, so we want to play co-op games. I'm not really into the one-player stuff. Yeah, I put hundreds of hours into Death Stranded. I platinum God of War. I platinum Forbidden West. But one-player games, they're fun, but you only experience them to yourself, unless you're a streamer like a Loki or a Parker. Those guys stream, so they kind of have an audience to do that with. But when you're playing a one-player game by yourself, you don't really have an audience. But when you're playing 2K, you have an audience. Oh, and there are big fights after 2K, especially in these discords. If you were the guy that messed up or whatever, man, they wanted to kill poor Noah one day. They said that he threw the game. And people was ready to fight, saying that he was missing shots and turning the ball over. And that's how bad Melo wanted to start betting $2,000, saying that he was the better player. Like, it gets crazy back here. And that's kind of like that competition that you like when you have these multiplayer games or these co-op games or competitive games. The one-player game, there's always going to be a place for the one-player game. But even back in the day, the one-player game that they try to force into a two-player game, like a Mario Brothers, player 2 is your turn now, after the player 1 done was on the joint for a whole hour. But, you know, that kind of stuff. But, I mean, hey, listen, I think that's why you have those games as a service that they're working on, because Sony realized that, hey, look, we have this one-player market sewn up. Like, nobody can touch us here. But maybe we do need to get into these games as a service where it's multiplayers, like MMOs. Like listen, they kind of cheated. They bought Bungie. Destiny is probably the best MMO on console easily. I don't think there's any competition. It's a better MMO on console than Destiny. Like that game is.
The thing is, though, they didn't buy Bungie for like Destiny. They did for the expertise and you know, the resources and stuff they could provide to get their live service stuff going.
You know, these gaming streets need that Last of Us factions. They need it. We want to see that kind of stuff. Like, I want to, like, oh, okay, you know, there's Last of Us factions and that kind of stuff, because you get tired of the one-player stuff. And I think that's why, and this is going to segue into the subject that everybody's been dying to get to, because we've been fighting about this in the back here for like a day and a half now. Ever since everybody got their pre-order tracking number from UPS, everybody's been talking about this PSVR 2. And about
let's get into the elephant in the room.
Oh my God, the PSVR 2, folks. Loki and Vaughn wanted to assassinate me since last night when I told them that this PSVR 2 is going to have an uphill battle on trying to compete with the Meta Quest. And I get a lot of pushback from these two brothers because they tell me, well, it's a premium headset compared to the Meta trash headset. It doesn't matter. A car is still a car. Listen, there are a lot more people out there driving Hondas than BMWs and Cadillacs. That's the fact. So, you know, do you want to get in the Honda market? Affordable. Does its job. You feel satisfied. Or do you want to buy one of them high-end cars? A lot of taxes. Something breaks. Very expensive to fix. You know, it depends. Like, what do you really want? You know, because I'm telling you, and I'm going to hand this over to you, Loki, because Loki has pre-ordered the PSVR 2 much like myself. So you can't call me a hater. I spent $638. So I'm not a hater. I'm just telling you that I don't think this VR shit's going to last. I got a whole storage unit full of 3D TVs, God damn it. And everybody told me that was going to be the new shit. They was like, hey, when you go buy that new Batman vs. Superman, make sure you get the 3D version. Oh, when you go buy Avatar, make sure you get the 3D version. And I have all the 3D versions to these shit. But I ain't got no goddamn 3D TV no more. Like, bro, it's gone. It's over. And I was telling the brothers yesterday, the problem is technology changes so fast. Remember we had 3D TVs with HD, right? That was the thing. Yeah, 3D TV, HD.
2010.
Yes. 1080p. Woo! Then what happened? Bam! 4K came. They weren't making no 4K 3D TVs. They were like, uh-oh, we got to go back to the drawing board. So now all the big boys, the LGs, the Sonys, the Samsung said, hey, now we going to make 4K 3D TVs. That's what they said. And that's what they did. They made 4K 3D TVs. I remember. I bought one. $5,000. All right, I'm ready. I'm ready for 4K. I've been ready for 3D. Let me sit down and watch this. Before I can put my glasses on and enjoy Wonder Woman, they had this thing come out months later called HDR. Fucking HDR. So now, not only do I need a TV that's 3D compatible, 4K compatible, and it's going to have high dynamic fucking range. And they didn't make a 3D TV with 4K in high dynamic range. So that shit was done. So you know what I said? I'm going to fuck around, get me this 4K TV with HDR, put all that 3D shit away, because once they added that HDR, LG, Sony, and actually Samsung was the first one. They dropped out. They said, we ain't making no more 3D TVs. And then Sony said, you know what? We're done too, because one of the last Sony Bravias, it was the best 3D because it was 3D with 4K, and the 4K was beautiful, but it didn't have HDR. And then LG was the last one to bow out of the 3D shit with the 4K. They say, hey, we're done. And now you can only get 4K. You can only get 3D now on these goddamn projectors. So that brings me back to the question, low key, why do you think that PSVR 2 or VR anyway is any different than what 3D was?
All right. So that was a good story, good anecdotal story. One thing I say about it is Sony is one of the people that's pushing forward, the platform. They're pushing forward the tech. So they're not getting left behind. They creating stuff for other people, to be like, damn, we left behind. I'm confident in Sony, one, because they've already made one. I'll put my hand up and say I didn't purchase it. I had the Samsung Oculus ones, back in the day. That's my experience with VR.
Oh, so you didn't get the PSVR one?
Oh, I didn't get the PSVR one.
Okay.
And after seeing and listening to people in 2017 and 18 saying how cumbersome it is, I was like, you know what, I'll hold off on this.
Yeah, those wires were ridiculous. I had to get a whole new PS4 in my sunroom. Not my SUN, a sunroom. We got a sun porch. So I had to put a PS4 in there to play the VR with, because my PS4 Pro, the Spider-Man version I had in my cave, you had to keep going behind the fucking entertainment center to take the HDMIs out and all of that stuff. Say, you know what, we just going to dedicate this room to the PSVR room. And my son played, he had Five Nights at Freddy. They had a Spider-Man demo that really makes you think you were Spider-Man. Like the way that the camera was spinning and stuff, that was hot. I ain't gonna front, that was hot. But again, the problem was the games weren't very long, and the fact that they weren't very expensive, but they weren't very long, and I just felt like something was left on the table after I was done playing them. I think so.
And I'll see for myself, because I'm gonna get a couple of those games that they brought out on the first one, because they're bringing over a good amount of them. So I'm gonna try.
Yeah, some of them are free upgrades. I watched the Digital Foundry video last night, and he had the same question that I had with VR. And I had to quite listen. I'm not copying off of him or saying what he's saying, but where are the games? Now the problem I have is, okay, the Call of the Mountain. That was supposed to be, that's their flagship fucking first party title to sell with this peripheral. But now I'm not saying that the Metacritic is why I'm questioning it. Even they were saying that some of the tools, the game wasn't really good, but it uses the VR shit to the best of its ability in that single game. Almost like Astrobot, like when you got the fucking PS5, like that used the controller the best. You blew into it, it vibrated. It gave you the adaptive trigger. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I remember people making jokes.
Yeah, but it did everything it was supposed to do. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know. Now,
finish my answer, bro. Let me finish.
Oh, go ahead. I was just making a point, brother.
Loki,
Go ahead, brother.
when you finish, though, can you please answer just one question for me? What did this one do that is state-of-the-art or revolutionary that any other VR headset is not doing?
Eye tracking, probably. But go ahead, Loki.
No, that the other what's it called? Are doing that too, though.
Oh, they doing eye tracking too?
Yeah.
All right, so Loki,
that's not something they created. It's something that they just adopted.
So Loki, you said you didn't have the first one, but you had the Samsung one. Right. But when you heard the technology in it, that's what made you want to buy it.
Oh yeah, and that's from the actual people that's creating it. What I was
Sony, because you know, because basically Sony, and I hear you. You're telling us, the audience, that Sony isn't going to leave their shit behind. At least, if anything, at the end of the day, they're still going to invest time and development on the system.
Why they've done it with the console? They did it with the first one. Why would all of a sudden they not try to make it better? They've acquired like 2 or 3 studios that work.
Yep.
With VR, they're putting resources into these things.
Yes, they are, and that's all you can ask them to do is put resource. Shout out to Moby again. He says PSVR is the highest selling VR headset. Wrong. That is the Oculus.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Wrong.
I don't believe that's the case.
It's the number one, Moby. It's the number one selling VR for console because they're the only fucking one on console. Now, if you're talking as far as VR headsets go, they are number 3, I believe. I believe number 1 is the Quest. Number 2 will probably be the Steam one. Number 3 would be, I guess, the PSVR 1. because that had 5 million. And last, I think, would be that HTC, because that's some high roller rich boy shit. Like, that shit right there, that's like $2,000, bro. Listen, even I won't touch that fucking thing. You know, and I just spent $10,000 on the PC. I won't even touch that VR. I'm done. I'm not even touching that. But hey, Loki, I cannot argue with the points that you made. You made valid points. But that wasn't our argument today, though. Our argument was Tencent's getting out of the VR industry.
Oh my God.
Yes, Tencent's getting out. So now is Tencent getting out because they think that this shit is going nowhere? Because I've never seen a guy that invests very well and a lot into a certain market just up and say, you know what, we ain't doing this no more. Now, usually that means it's about the rain, so pack up your shit. This picnic's over. That's what I was trying to say to you and Vaughn earlier. I'm not trying to say that it's going to be a success. I'm not trying to say it's going to not be a success. All I'm saying is there are 15.8 million Quest huge Quest headsets out there. There's 15 million. You only had 5 in the PSVR 1. You only had 5. So even that would only be a third of what you're reaching, or a third of those headsets out there already. And now this one that's just coming in, pre-orders are still available. I have never seen Sony hardware that was still fucking available. The scalpers grab that Sony shit so bad and will charge you $800 for that headset. So bad. I've seen one on eBay. Somebody is selling their PSVR 2 on eBay right now.
As of 2020, by the way, that was 3 years ago.
Yeah, and they stopped. So you still think they're making PSVR 1 headsets?
Oh, I'm just saying that was 3 years ago numbers.
Yes. Well, all right. Keep in mind, we're only 2 months into the new year, but I see what you're saying. So if you want to say it's 2 years and 2 months,
January 2020,
into a new system too.
They put that out January 2020.
Okay,
That was
I find it hard to believe that they sold 5 million since then. I know. I'm just breaking it down, bro. I'm not saying you did, brother. I'm just saying they didn't sell 1 million since then. All I'm saying is that they moved on to part 2, and
that one was successful enough. That's my point.
Yes, and I'm not saying it's not. But
put the money to make this one of the top tier headsets for no reason. That's what I'm saying.
Now, I'll get to that in a minute. Moby says Google left the cloud space doesn't mean cloud gaming is dead. No, but Sony left the handheld space. Handheld space wasn't dead. The handheld space belongs to Nintendo. That's what the problem was. They said, why are we going to compete with this damn plumber and his Yoshi when they got it on lock as far as handhelds go? And
they found a lane with the VR because they we can continue to create software that we think will be compelling. And
you know what? I think you're right, but unfortunately, Sony's VR is not on the highway. That shit's on the back road, and the fucking Quest is what's on the highway. That's what everybody's getting.
Man. I got the specs for whenever you want to talk about.
Well, listen, we can have specs. Listen,
that question, we could get to that.
Okay, we can get the spec, but specs mean nothing, right? Because last I checked, the PS5 power is inferior to the Series X, but the PS5 is the one that's selling. So specs don't mean a goddamn thing. It means who's buying.
It can be implemented well.
But specs don't mean anything, bro. It's about
Horizon. What Horizon look like in the PS4 version? It looks better than anything anywhere else. I'm not even gonna state where anywhere else because
now you can say where. I mean, look, hey, it's a fact. There's no sense. Well, bless whoever that was. That was a sneeze. If it wasn't, then you need to go see the doctor. But what I'm saying is, it's okay. You can mention. Look, that's what I'm saying. Specs doesn't really sell systems because the PS3 was more powerful than the Xbox 360. PS3 was, but in its early beginnings, the Xbox 360 was outselling the PS3 2-1. It was outselling. It was the higher price shit. It was better. It was more advanced, but fucking the 360 was stomping it out.
The games are running better. People knew how to implement. They knew how to implement that software. The same thing with PlayStation. Yeah, 100%. And they also they know how to implement this software to what they have.
So then my question to you, sir, would be, You think people are going to put down their Oculus Quest just to play with Aloy on climbing a goddamn mountain?
That's a great question. Great question. And that's not something that I've thought of. But it's gonna happen is people that have PlayStations, 30 million, 32 million, probably like 34 million now.
Oh man, we multiplying here. What happened? When they drop over, wait a minute.
32 like a month ago.
So you think they sold 4 million in a month?
So I said 34.
So okay, so 2 million in a month. They ain't selling no 2 million. Hell, even the Switch doesn't move units like that. Shit.
All right.
But all I'm saying is
32 million. Wait, let me finish this.
Okay.
That 32 million, a percentage of them will buy it. As the percentage of as more consoles get purchased, a percentage will get higher and higher. And I think that's where they're banking on that success coming from. Not necessarily all the people coming over from Oculus. It's people that have their console, that see this peripheral, that see games come out, and people that have it say, oh, it's good. And as they sell more consoles, they'll be able to sell more headsets.
What if I told you that there were about 119 million PS4s out there? Would you agree or disagree?
If that's the number they report, then yeah.
So 100 and about 15 million, 14 million PS4s, but only 5 million PSVR1 headsets sold. That lets me know right there that shit is niche and it's going to be hard to move that fucking thing. It's going to be hard.
PlayStation believes in it, and that's good enough for me.
I believe in God, and not everybody does. We got a church.
You invest in it, though, right?
I pay my tithes. Thanks. I work for the church.
So
I got my blessings.
I'm paying my tithes right now because I'm investing in this ecosystem.
Notice Parker has been very, very quiet.
Yeah, he's been silent.
No, listen,
why hasn't Parker responded to this video? Parker hadn't even been in this discussion. I'm surprised.
Because I'm handling it, man.
But you're not right. You're doing a bad fucking job at it because you're down 15 million units and you tell me shit's gonna take over the world like Pinky in the Brain? Come on, man.
Hold up. And if you look for the most part, for that $300 price cut, whatever, the PlayStation VR was, pretty competitive as a VR with other VR headsets.
Competitive as far as what?
Being sold. Remember it came out late to the party. There was a lot of other VR headsets that was already out.
No shit.
How many games did they have for that first unit?
The same one they have for this unit. It's just updated version. Same shit.
No, well, for the first one, they had quite a few games on it, but this one, playing, right, you'll be able to play Resident Evil 8, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, the Gran Turismo 7, those that like, Resident Evil is probably, and it might be
Gran Turismo 7 is dead.
Listen, that's not the question if it's dead or not. You know what I'm saying? Those that like that series, that game, will probably be inclined maybe to experience it. From a VR perspective,
are those games going to be on the Oculus? Are they going to be on the Quest too? Yeah, that's why I'm asking him that. So those games you just named, are they going to be on the Quest?
I don't know if they're going to be on the Quest. Resident Evil 8, I'm not sure what type of. Now, if you got a Quest though, the higher tier ones like $1,500.
It's 15. Evil 8 is on Quest, I think.
Which that Quest that you're talking about, Parker Quest Pro, that's basically what I would think the PSVR 2 is competing with because. That's supposed to be premium too. The Meta Quest Pro.
Right here. I got the specs right
here.
Post them.
Yeah, send them in the Discord so we can throw it on screen.
Okay.
Yeah, because listen, specs, like I said, spec lives don't really matter because the Xbox Series X is supposed to be 2 times more powerful than the PS5. I haven't seen it. The sales haven't seen it.
Look at the multiplayer.
PlayStation know what they're doing. That's the reason why you haven't seen it.
I don't know.
They
claim
PlayStation believes in it, so I believe in it.
Oh man! Did you put it in the general?
Yeah.
Okay, there it is. Here it is. Let's see this shit that Loki's trying to fucking wash our brains with here, folks.
I got them right next to each other on my screen right now.
Hey, good
All
job,
right,
bro.
here it is. Here it is. Let's see the lives, folks. Let's see the lives.
The thing is, on the website, it's not next to each other. It's one under another.
Well, let's see. On the website, you're right. On the website, it's.
I'm looking at it too. Oh, this looks nice from
Well,
PlayStation perspective.
Yeah, it does. It does. It's
One
just
is
unfortunately
LCD.
nobody can afford it. But anyway, all right.
PlayStation.
PlayStation
Okay.
gamers can afford it. We pay for games. That's
No, you just
Oh,
promo,
no,
right?
You play. Let's call it spade. You PlayStation guys are using Klarna and the rest of those fucking installments to buy this shit. Y'all ain't got no goddamn money.
He's saying you PlayStation guys. You say us.
Oh,
yeah. I don't know about this Pro.
Uh-oh.
Mm.
Uh-oh.
I don't know about that Quest though. The Quest, the Pro specs for the Quest ain't looking too.
See that, Parker?
It ain't looking too kosher though compared to the PlayStation. I mean, just going by these what's this paper though. I'm just saying, right?
OLED Warrior. I know you see LCD and OLED on there.
Oh yeah, right. And they got what higher frames too, resolution.
Well,
90?
okay.
So-
Well, let's read the view. The verdict said Sony and Meta have understood that the VR environment needs a technology upgrade. This is a field of technology that will be increasing over time, and companies have to start investing in it, except for Tencent. However, both companies have arisen to the occasion via different paths. This very fork depicts the main differences in performance, design, and specs of both devices. Meta is taking a more multitasking approach. They are building a device that expects to be used in work-related environments, where users host meetings, scroll through emails, and complete various tasks while still connected to the real world. Okay, so this shit's like a fucking giant fucking Zoom meeting here. Hence, it's mixed reality design. So users can still see outside the goggles and operate in the real world while using them. You can do that on PSVR too. You press this button. It's in black and white though. Whatever the fuck that's about. And it says Sony has approached users' needs with a more straightforward intention. The PSVR 2 is a gaming device first and foremost, and people will use them for gaming, period. The design changes and the 4K display and the controllers all make this device breathe and feel like a gadget specifically tailored for gaming entertainment. Okay, so basically, we're talking about two different things here. So if they're telling you this is the Quest, that this right here says it all. And it all makes sense now. It all makes sense. The PlayStation's VR is for gaming, where this MetaQuest Pro is for some uppity rich guy that wants to get to the golf course, who wants to do his meetings at home, and then he goes over to the golf course. That's all he needs is an internet connection via Wi-Fi or something. So that seems to be what this is here. Oh man.
Now here's the thing, though. I'm gonna say this. Now, let's say if I'm a PlayStation owner and if I'm thinking about probably getting into VR, I might be more inclined to just look at the specs and the games that are, for the PlayStation VR 2 opposed to the MetaQuest games. I'm gonna pick the PSVR 2 though.
All right.
Let me finish.
Let him finish. But hold on, before you get to that, shout out to Titus. Okay. Titus did say this fucking yesterday. Titus did say, shout out to you, Titus, even though we're not friends anymore. Titus, he did, Loki, he said it. He said, don't know why people were comparing them. Because Titus did say that. He said, I told y'all that Quest Pro was for yesterday. He did. He fucking said it yesterday.
Okay, hold on.
VR headset.
Let me just finish though. Like, regardless, right? If you get the regular $300 one, they're not gonna be able to play those type of games because it's a rinky dink VR, the $300 one. Let me finish.
This is the high end one I compared it to.
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, even with the high end one, the games like.
But I think you guys are misunderstanding this, bro.
No, Rick, let me finish, Rick. Now if I'm just a PlayStation owner, more particularly a PS5 owner, and I was thinking about getting into VR. I would be more inclined to get that PSVR 2, just looking at the game and the specs of that stuff too, though. Opposed to that $300 version of that, though.
All right. Well, Loki, do this for me there, Loki. Since you want to be co-producer with freaking Objective Gamer here, pull up the fucking specs for the HTC versus that PSVR 2, and that's where it gets stomped the fuck out. I'm telling you, that is gaming. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's the real shit.
Don't PSVR feel like a middle ground kind of?
Say that again, Mayvon. I couldn't hear the beginning. What'd you say?
Do you feel like I feel like PSVR 2 is kind of like a middle ground? Like in between?
I think the middle ground would, maybe it is, because you would think that the Quest Pro 2 would be the low end shit. You would think that the PSVR 2 would be more focused on gaming. They got the first party shit, but that HTC nigga, that's the motherfucking Hulk Hogan of this motherfucking VR shit. I looked at that shit. That shit was like $1,700. I said, fuck. I said, goddamn.
Where your rig had to be to use that thing too, though. So that's even more money.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, but that's the point. But wait a minute. You motherfuckers just told me that the PlayStation headset is premium. That motherfucking HTC would be premium too. So compare it to that shit.
No, but here, this is what I'm saying though. So you probably spending probably had to spend over altogether probably close to $4,000. With a gaming PC to match that HTC thing, that price of HTC thing. That's what I'm saying. Whereas, $600, $500, or you got the $400 version of PS5. So like $1,000 though, right? At the probably like around $1,000 at the cheapest though. To get with a $400 all digital PS5, right? That's $400, and the headset's whatever $550, $600, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So so you in there for like right? You know what I mean?
Shout out to Titus and Freco, I don't make fun of Titus's weight. Titus is my friend. We're just kidding. That's number one. Number two, Titus says if we don't know, the real reason what the specs are, he said it's the processor. Like this, Titus knows this shit. I don't know why he doesn't come on like shows and shit more often. Listen, Titus is a pain in my ass sometimes, but he doesn't really cap. Except for him, we had this thing about
Batman, bring your ass in.
George Washington Carver, but
He's getting besides the point, though. The point is, for the specs that it is, getting a very good value.
And a better game.
Oh, absolutely. Bro, listen, make no mistakes about it. For the specs that are on that PlayStation VR, that's cheap, and I think you had to.
You gotta have like $1,200 to $1,300 just to do it, because you have to buy a PlayStation.
But Dre, you need about $5,000 if you want the HTC. You need like $5,000. So you need $5,000.
A lot cheaper than that.
You need fucking $5,000. Titus, we don't have beef. Titus, you still want to be in this Game Pass family membership? I suggest you shut what we call the fuck up. So anyway, so. I think that's if you want to compare premium headsets, it has to be to that HTC. And you're right, you're getting a good value. You're also getting something that HTC doesn't have. Well, I don't think, because I don't know. See, now this is where Sony, they can fuck up the whole VR shit and make them sign exclusive deals with like Capcom for their Resident Evils and shit, and say, hey, listen, you bring that shit over here, then HTC can be like, hey, what the fuck happened? Why can't we have it? Now our VR is just for porn and shit. But that's what can happen. Now, if PlayStation wants the money hat, and
all right, I got sent a new article.
Okay, all right, Tech Man, yeah, that's him. Tech Man, send it the chat link.
All right, let's put it in the general. That's what we're going to do. HTC Vive Pro 2 versus the PSVR 2.
Okay.
So, I want you guys to check it out and see what y'all think.
I'm looking at it right now. I like the black on it though.
That shit's look at that motherfucker.
Oh yeah, low RGB, low precision. I don't know about that. I'll take an OLED panel.
It's a giant scope. Yeah, this is a LCD panel. The HTC one. All right, this does have side by side. Not really. I mean, I have a QLED TV in my basement compared to my OLED. You're right. I don't have an LCD. You're right. QLED is brighter than a fucking OLED.
But you get deeper blacks though. It's perfect for gaming or OLED though.
The cameras, PSVR got 4 embedded cameras.
All right.
While the HTC Vive
Pro 2 has 2
embedded cameras.
All right. So everybody in the chat, everybody who's watching through YouTube,
it seems like the PSVR 2 is a little bit better.
Well,
Yeah,
At
and
least.
better games possibly. You could say.
the fresh rates are about the
AAA
same.
type games.
The
That's
the
difference.
resolution
Yeah.
per eye is higher on the HTC,
Yeah, that's the one thing it is. But it's
and
also not
and the
OLED.
field of view is also more. It's 120. Now the PlayStation has 4 embedded cameras compared to 2, but how good are those cameras? Those 4 compared to those 2
Sony
cameras?
Come on.
Sony cameras known for having good lenses.
Oh
though.
my, listen,
Okay,
and a
okay.
Google phone has the
Rick,
best
you know
fucking
better
camera.
than that.
Come on, man, stop this. See, they're not.
A lot of people
first
use
of
their
all,
lenses,
guys,
though.
hold
Come
on.
on, Rick.
Guys, so you're telling me Sony is putting Sony cameras inside the VR?
Cameras
on.
use their lenses though.
Jesus Christ! They get their lenses from somewhere in
You
China.
know, I gotta say, based on seeing these stats, PSVR 2 is stacking up well to the HTC Vive Pro
Tell him,
2.
Dave, man. Tell him stop playing around, bro.
Oh man! Oh, shout out to Badman. Badman said Parker can't do math. Jesus Christ! Titus is still thinking we have a real beef. Iron Mike said, "Thing is, PSVR don't have all the game support that entry level Quest does." That's true. That is very true.
They get in the same games, and they have studios that's gonna be making.
Yeah,
games.
but how,
What are you
man,
talking
those games
about?
gonna take 5 fucking years to come out, man. Then you nuts, you're starting from scratch with a VR and
Not
shit.
true.
No,
You
it's
don't
not,
even
not
know
for
that.
real game.
Gaming for
Come on.
fun. I don't know who this is, but he's a fucker that I know from other Discord. But Gaming for Fun says, Ricky, hold that L. I'm not holding no L. That's probably Trillo. I
Hey,
don't know
man,
for
hold
a
the
fact.
L, bro.
Hold the L for what?
Can't say what games just because they ain't announced them yet. It's
Listen,
like, oh, they ain't
don't
no
get
games
me
that
mad
out after
because
the
I
release.
will go buy a HTC
No,
headset
games.
today and throw my P. Don't make me mad. I will go buy a HTC headset,
Oh, that
and when my
is my
PSVR 2
God.
gets here, I'll smash it with a fucking hammer. That's what I'll do.
And then you're gonna buy another one.
No, I'll get HTC.
I mean, does the HTC Vive Pro, does that have
Yeah,
Resident
sure.
Evil Village?
Yes.
Do we
What's
got
the price?
do we got eye tracking?
Eye tracking, optional, additional face tracking equipment attachment. So it doesn't come with it. So you gotta spend about $3,000 if you want this fucking HTC shit.
Like, what that
God
come
damn!
on?
Jesus
Ricky, I
Christ!
mean, PSVR 2 is
Oh,
comparable
that's
to
Vaughn!
that.
Oh, that's
so
Vaughn!
it's-
Gaming for fun, son of a... I knew it was somebody I knew. I knew it. Hey, Vaughn, don't get... Listen, Vaughn, you say what you want. The Quest is 15 million units ahead of that PSVR. Good luck. But anyway, now that I think about it...
Adding numbers, bro.
Because that's what it is. So anyway, I'm telling y'all right now that if you're talking bang for the buck, the PSVR 2 is the choice to go over this HTC Vive Pro 2. Like, god
Yes.
damn, this shit is... Why would I pay for this?
It is comparable.
This, you know what this is? This is those rich virgins that live in their parents' basement and they buy this to play porn on it. I'm telling you, who else is spending that kind of money for this? This doesn't make any sense. You're buying all of this, but the guy in the left-hand column has all the shit. This is like, you know what this is? The HTC Vive Pro is Aaron Rodgers, right? Everybody's talking about how good it looks and how good it is and shit. But Tom Brady had all the rings. See what I'm saying? You know, Tom Brady couldn't throw like Aaron Rodgers. You know, Tom Brady didn't have the move, the footwork and all of that stuff. That's PSVR 2. PSVR 2 is Tom Brady, and this HTC is Aaron Rodgers. That's as best as I can use as an analogy here, because number one, they have an OLED. They got 4 cameras, and it's USB-C. Like USB. Nah, it ain't Mahomes. Mahomes got that guy calling the plays for him, Airbnb. But you know, yeah, nigga, you know I'm going there. You know I'm going there. So yeah, the USB-C, haptic feedback and controllers. This thing got none in its controllers. Jesus Christ.
Just said the Quest 2 is Tom Brady. Yo, can we boo him out the chat, bro?
Oh, but who said this? Well, Titus. Titus said the Quest 2 is Tom Brady. Titus now.
Best
You
ever.
gotta
He's
stop this.
crazy.
Oh man. Jesus
drinking
Christ.
early.
But here's what I will say, folks. PlayStation has more studios, more IPs that they can throw exclusively to their VR. HTC doesn't have that. Quest, Meta doesn't have that. I mean, what are you going to do, a Facebook chat or something? I mean, come on, man. If you're talking gaming, and that's what a lot of people are buying these headsets for, is gaming. Gaming-wise, game-wise, specs-wise, PlayStation VR 2 wins. It wins in my eyes. It wins in Loki's eyes, Vaughn's eyes, Parker, of course, because it's a Sony product. That's what it is. It's going to win in our eyes. We're the, I guess you could say, hardcore gamers. We are those guys. But for the parent, the soccer mom, or the absentee father who comes around because he had to pay child support and he wants to buy his kid a VR headset, he won't buy the PSVR and a PlayStation to do that. He's going to stick one of them damn Quest on the poor kid and have him playing them raggedy ass games. But that's why you need the smart game. You need channels like mine, like Loki, like Parker, like Lavon, Dre, to inform people that if you want to play games or you want to play VR, you got to go to PSVR 2. And that's what we're hoping that happens, because we want to see more VR games. That's what we want to see. We want to see VR games. That's what we need. We want more games. We're buying it to play games. And yes, I was just throwing jabs and shit at y'all where we comparing numbers and shit. But I mean, that's what makes a show. We can't all agree, because it's not fun if we do that. It's not fun at all. It's not fun if we all agree. We all know for a fact that the PSVR 2 is going to have better games than the Quest and this HTC overpriced fucking Viper of a fucking headset, which is expensive for no fucking reason. We know that it's going to be better. We know it's going to have better games. But I think we probably got a little, I don't know, we probably wanted more. They're giving us games at launch, so, gamers are never fucking satisfied.
30 games in the first month or two.
And we're going to find a way to complain about that. Watch. We will. We'll complain. We'll complain some way, some another.
Now, we got at least, 3 more topics left.
But here's another topic.
Okay, go ahead, Levi.
It's a tech topic, actually, and we were discussing this a little bit before the show started. It's about foldable phones and stuff like that. And, Z Fold 5, that's coming out. It's going to be unveiled in August, making its debut and all that other stuff. We obviously know that. Samsung's always going to come out with a foldable at this point. But here's the real question. Here's the real big question. Google, I've been hearing, is coming out with a foldable, and it could be this year. Do you guys think it's too late?
Where y'all going? Oh, where y'all going?
I'm gonna say this, right? I don't know if it's too late, but I will say this: you better get. If you're gonna bring that phone out, hurry up and bring that out, right? Your foldable phone before Apple decides to do one, because you know what happens if Apple brings out a foldable phone, being as a more popular brand and like phone, right? It's gonna undercut you whatever way, and J fans is gonna go in droves to get that affordable iPhone. Same, you look at the Apple product.
I think honestly, the Pixel Fold, it has to be cheaper. It has to be cheaper than the Fold.
Shout out to Vaughn and Iron Mike fighting in the chat like they do in Discord, man. This is fun to see, But tax time is a good time, folks, and that's when you should be releasing your shit, because a lot of people ain't getting no PSVR 2 if it wasn't coming out around tax time. Now, let's be honest. A lot of people income tax just hit this week, so they was like, "Oh, I'm safe."
Those the ones that's buying PlayStation.
Oh yeah, exactly, bro. Listen, the government took all your shit. You might as well get it back.
I guarantee you like those digital PS5 is selling. They sold out at Best Buy. The digital one, you can still get the.
I caught one 2 weeks ago. Because I saw Best Buy had one, and the difference, the box is black and shit. So I was like, "Oh shit, look at that!" I copped this. I copped the digital PS5 because it's an anomaly. Just like I copped that Last of Us 2 PlayStation 4 Pro because that was an anomaly. That's harder to get than the Spider-Man PS4 Pro.
So we want to get on this Last of Us 2. Abby. Death Press.
What is up with that, bro? Like,
I'll take point.
Take point on this, Parker. Because this is a shame.
I know some might say I don't look at it so much as PlayStation. It's go more than that, though, right? I mean, it's see some masculine playing like a female, a strong role in the game, and maybe they're threatening some insecure guys, whatever, and they attack it. It's female, it's a game, so that's the bad part of gaming, especially what female gamers deal with and stuff too. So that's like sending death press over a video game character, though, right?
Yeah.
Come on.
No, I thought that when you showed me this article, I was
Yeah.
like, God damn, like people gotta stop this shit. Like, you know, one stupid ass troll or one stupid person,
Yeah.
you know, they fuck it up for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
masses, and I think that you know, that's just stupid. You know, death threats for what? I mean, come on, man. Like, it doesn't even make any sense. Like, some people just need to get a life, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you got nothing better to do than to threaten somebody. Like,
Yeah.
What-
I was gonna speak on that, but everybody can give me take.
you know, I mean, I think it's ridiculous. I mean, you said what you said. Loki's muted right now. He's
Okay.
he's probably eating something.
No, he back. There you go.
I ain't eating.
Come on, brother, you gotta eat now. You PlayStation guys claim you eat all the time. Like, come on. Man.
Oh, I just want to speak on that.
I fast until 5-6, but nah. When I saw that in there, I mean,
Yeah, that's crazy,
it
right?
just reminds you. It just reminds you of our reality.
Oh
It's-
man.
there's-
Titus
you know,
is
there's
Titus
a-
throwing jabs, Loki. I don't mean to cut you off. He said Parker is looking out for white women again, protecting white women again. God damn.
Oh my god!
Jesus.
I'm trying to have a serious
Yeah,
discussion about
Jesus.
these
Here comes
weirdos.
Titus, right? These weirdos. Speaking of
On a
weirdos.
serious
Yeah.
note,